The radiogram arrived at the New York headquarters of Doc Savage before noon. A smartly uniformed messenger boy named Morris O. Jones carried it to the imposing skyscraper which housed the Bronze Man's headquarters. Like most New Yorkers, Morris O. Jones knew that the legendary Man of Bronze lived on the 86th floor of Manhattan's tallest building. Thus Jones was quite excited as he pushed his way across the ornate lobby toward the Bronze Man's private lift. The elevator bore the messenger up 86 floors without stopping. He found himself at one end of a long, wide corridor, tastefully decorated. There were several doors, but only one at the far end showed any lettering.
"Boy, oh boy,"
Morris O. Jones enthused.
"Maybe I can wrangle an autograph from this guy."
So the messenger knocked. The door promptly opened. The personage who stood in the doorway was no taller than Jones himself, yet he seemed to tower over him like a giant. Moreover, the arms of this astounding individual dangled well below his knees. He possessed a scarred face in which the nose had been mashed flat. His hair grew back from his eyebrows. There was a bullet hole in one ear. His entire body, furthermore, was covered with red hair not unlike rusty shingle-nails. When this apparition asked Morris O. Jones,
"Something I can do for you, pal?"
in a squeaky, childlike voice, the messenger, at a complete loss for words, waved the radiogram frantically. A third individual sat behind an immense inlaid desk of Oriental design within. "My name is Brigadier General Theodore Marley Brooks. I'm an associate of Doc Savage."
"Ham to the rest of us."
Ham Brooks reddened slightly and continued. "Now, my good man, just what is your business here?"
"I'm Morris O. Jones,"
the messenger announced proudly, straightening his rumpled green uniform.
"I got a radiogram for Doc Savage."
Blackbird Hinton was standing on the tramp steamer's deck like a great black crow when King Hancock clambered aboard.
"Get alongside that plane before it sinks. Ready a crew with a boom."
By this time, the prisoners had been hauled aboard. The raven-like diamond smuggler strode toward them with his rolling gait. Both the girl and her companion were walking under their own power.
"This one doesn't speak English," a sailor offered, indicating the girl. "We're not sure about this guy, though. He gave us a fight." "So I noticed," Blackbird said sarcastically. "I also noticed he took most of you lubbers to bring him down. We've got almost $500,000 in uncut diamonds aboard this tub, with a South African law apt to be breathing down our necks most any time, and you swabs can't even handle one guy."
The men looked sheepish.
"Hey, what about you?"
Blackbird roared, turning on the red-haired captive.
"What have you to say for your bloody self?"
"What ship is this?" the prisoner asked. He spoke acceptable English.
"This is the Mighty, me bucko. As fine a hell ship as ever prowled the seven blasted seas. I'm a skipper. Call me Blackbird."
"What destination?"
"Bombay, India, if that means anything to you."
The prisoner nodded. "It does. What year is this?" Blackbird Hinton blinked button eyes.
"What?"
he roared. "I asked, what year is this?"
1934, are you daft?"
Monk was a canny soul, but there wasn't a cautious bone in his body. Hearing no sound, Monk stepped in. A baseball bat collided with his nubbin of a head, knocked him flat. Monk endeavored to get up. A foot planted itself on the small of his back and exerted force.
"Blazes!"
he croaked.
"Don't bother, smart guy,"
a deep, powerful voice said above him. Monk recognized the voice.
"I don't want to hurt you again,"
it said. Monk strained upwards. A baseball bat touched his nose by way of warning.
"Bull Pisano. What you want? You brung that message?" "Maybe."
The foot came off Monk's back.
"Let's see it then,"
the voice said good-naturedly. With a roar, Monk bounced erect. He loved to fight, and he loved his fights to be noisy. This fight wasn't. It was brief. The prisoners were conducted without ceremony to the great dirt pit occupying the plaza in front of the palace. Doc and the others were driven at spear point through the opening and to the rim. A deep voice rumbled out of the depression.
"Holy cow! They got you too!"
It was Rennie Renwick. Their backs were to the pit. "It would be better to jump down under our own power," Doc told them. Doc Savage dropped over the edge. The others followed. Monk Mayfair ambled over to Rennie.
"I see you came out second best, Big Fists," Monk said sarcastically. "Second best nothing," Rennie roared. "If I'd gotten in one punch—"
The crowd went deathly silent. Taxus gave a strident command. Several of his soldiers emerged down the palace steps, each bearing a large earthenware vessel tightly covered. "Uh-oh," Monk said. No one doubted that each jar contained a fully grown python, tightly coiled.
"Here it comes,"
Rennie groaned. The soldiers, once the interruption had passed, resumed their work. They held the upturned jar so that its lid hung over the rim. One of them gave it a resounding kick. The lid popped off, and an ugly brown mass fell out and unraveled its scaly length on the floor of the pit. It stirred torpidly like a deformed dog sniffing around a new backyard.
"Good grief," Ham breathed. "It must be 30 feet long."
Franklin nodded soberly.
"One of the largest on the whole island. They're kept in captivity and trained for these trials. Trained to kill humans."
Another earthenware vessel was dragged forward. A second python spilled out like a coil of rope. The Solomon warriors had a bit of difficulty with the third jar. They got it to the pit rim intact, but the vessel cracked open, disgorging its contents in their midst. The soldiers fell upon the writhing serpent, and bodily bore its squirming length to the pit. They lined up on the pit edge and pitched the looping reptile over. It began moving at once. All 3 pythons were now active and gliding in the prisoner's direction.
"This is it,"
Franklin moaned, his back to the wall.
"We can fight them barehanded or let them take us. Either way, it comes out the same."
Monk snorted angrily.
"Me? I'm fighting." "That goes for me, too,"
Rennie added, low-voiced. Doc Savage waved them back. "Stand our ground," he directed. "I want to try something."